Um, as always, this is Lorenzo. We're going to, for our master class of today, we're gonna uh, study the subject of the email system. And it's a very interesting subject, using the email system correctly, and most importantly, knowing what to do. Um, so I'm gonna start right now, and I'm going to switch to the screen. Okay, so now you're seeing the screen, and depending on the version, this is for clients of a credit money machine or our line of CRM software. You have the links here, and you have the software. You have the software. You have the links here to subscribe to the next class, or to go to the different websites. And essentially, we're not selling anything here. This is to give as much information as possible. The email system is really, really powerful, and I hope that I can, in an hour or hopefully less, we can cover this important area of the software. Depending of your version, or depending even of the level that you're using, the email system will be up here. Okay, this will be the tab to enter. Also, if you are in the expert level for the ultimate version, you know that to enter into the email system will be this icon. But normally, if you are here, that will be email system. So the first thing that you should know, I guess, is what is this? This is a red button that it will check for new emails without going to the email system. So if you need to check for your emails, you don't want to basically go to the email system to check, you can check here. And also, it's possible to go to the setup. As a matter of fact, that is the preferred way. Go to the setup here. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm sorry for being a little bit dispersed, but as I noticed, that is something I don't prepare for this, simply because, well, I kind of know everything in the software, so I kind of go pretty much as I see fit. So by going to the setup, if I click here, by the way, you see the tooltip go directly to the agent's privileges area. So I go here, and we have an area here called tasks and an email, and here I can put a number of minutes where I want to receive emails. Okay, receive emails every so often. Also, we can send emails automatically every so often, but not a good idea, in my opinion. Okay, because you may have many emails, so in my opinion, it's better to go to the outbox and then see if there is any problems, or something that you change your mind or something, and then you can click um, uh, and send them all. Okay, same thing here for the task and agenda, but this is not part of our training. Another week we will talk about all the options in the setup, including the newest still not working, the synchronization, very important, that will synchronize unlimited computers pretty much automatically, or just by pressing one button. So as a way for this is going to be soon. All right, so basically what we have here is the ability to put in a number of minutes to receive emails automatically. But to go to the email system, we click the button, the email system button. Okay, and then here we have a few options. And again, this is an advanced class in the sense that I explain most of it, most of the software, not only a little bit. So this is not just to cover your basic. Probably you wouldn't need all these all the time. I don't need it all the time. I usually use practically these two buttons, and you're gonna see why. But but the other ones obviously has its own use, and so it's, at least you should know that the option exists. So here, button one is to go to the email system, selecting emails of the current contact. So we have this contact here on screen. If I click one, it will select all the emails. Okay. What means all the emails? Okay, that is a kind of important to know that I can put more than one email here, separated by commas, and then all those emails will be taken in consideration when going to the email system. Okay, so I can have whatever 20 emails. Usually these days people have more than one email, so that is kind of a common, and so you can have all the emails and automatically. For that reason only, you shouldn't use any other email system, because in order to emulate what we do here with one click and 1 second, even in hundreds of thousands of emails, will take pretty much a lot of labor when you do it in another system, including Outlook or Gmail, whatever, that you need to move physically the emails to a folder to know which ones belong. And then you need to know that this contact or client has several emails, and you need to remember, very cumbersome. And on top of that, you don't have the emails that you sent to this person. So for all those reasons, you want to use this program. In the advanced level here, okay, you also have additional emails, and the reason to have this is manifold. One is to have the whole domain or domains of the email. So for example, if I click this button could be in a different position depending on the level, but essentially if you hover, you'll see that if you click on this button, you can either move the email, or actually you can process the email and put all the domain right here. And also it puts automatically the URL for further use. So this, again, you can have several emails here, and sometimes the idea is that you have emails that maybe are not useful anymore for the client. Like for example, the client tells you, I'm not using this email anymore. But what happened is that you have many emails that you have sent back and forth to this client. So you want to have that in particular email here, and then it will be considered as one of the emails when you're going to the email system. In other words, it will consider, the system, the program will consider all the emails here. It will consider all the domains that you have here, and it will consider all the emails that you have separated by commas, as well as the domains separated by commas that you have here. You need to be very careful not to put by mistake, for example, something like this, like gmail.com, for example, because in that case, all the emails from gmail.com will be selected as part of this client, which obviously is not correct. You need to put only if the client has an email with a Gmail, not a problem, but that will be one email, whether you put it in additional emails or you put it here. The difference, again, is that these ones are usually emails that they are discarded, that have been deprecated, or maybe some other members of the company that you don't communicate with them, but still you want to select automatically all those emails with one click. Okay, so let's try to go. And of course, it's not going to select anything now because we don't have any emails from this. This is a fake email. Second button is go to the email by passing the automatic searching. Very important. That's why I said that I use these two buttons mainly, because many times I have a selection in the email system, and I want to go without disrupting that selection. So I came back for whatever reason. I came back to the client, but I don't want to go back and select only the ones from the client. I want to maintain the group that I had selected, that I had filtered in the email system. This one is to go to the send. So in other words, to the outbox. Instead of going to the inbox, it will go to the outbox. Sometimes useful. Select all emails from selected contacts. So depending how many contacts you have, this option can take some time. Imagine you have, for example, 1,000 contacts and you want to see all the emails. That could be appropriate in some cases, and certainly is a feature that you don't see anywhere else. And last is go to the email system, selecting your emails to read. So this is your emails to read. In this one, when you go with this one, you're going to see emails sent and emails to read and read for this client. In other words, the whole line of communication plus the ones the ones that you have linked to the client. We're going to see that in a second. This one will be only the ones that you have to read. Very useful too. But usually you're going to use one of these two. Doesn't matter what we do right now. I'm going to go with number one, only to have a blank slate. Because I know there is nothing there. Okay, and then next step, or this could have been even the first step, you need to create an account. Several ways to create an account here. We have the normal way, and then we have two special ways for Gmail and emails in GoDaddy. It's special simply because the ports are different than usual. But that makes it very, very easy to set up. So if you have a Gmail account with what is called a POP3, there is in the format settings of the in your Gmail account, it is possible, it is perfectly possible to select POP3, and then you create, so you can use it, and you don't lose the ability to see your emails in the web, but instead you can have it on both sides, and we're going to see why and how. So basically here we will put something, and so we're going to put here something in this case, just to be funny, at gmail.com, and we will put the password. Okay, so I'm going to put 123, and I'm going to click create. So it's asking me if I want to use this account as my default account to send emails. I'm going to say no. Usually, if it is the only email that you're using, you will say yes. And then it creates all the email with everything, right? The POP3 server and the SMTP server as appropriate, as well as the ports and everything in between that has to be based on the username and password that I created, etc. So this is very easy. In the case of GoDaddy, well, same procedure. You would put any email that you have that GoDaddy is hosting, or actually is have the MX records, and let's put here John at whatever, right? Because it doesn't have to be GoDaddy, and then the password, and it will create default account no, and it will create the right port. This is the most important part because you don't need to think, you don't need to follow instructions, very easy. Normally, which I'm gonna click here, unique account is created. Okay, so this one is the same as the one before, so that's no problem. But here, I'm gonna put something. This is the private description and the full name to see, etc. My point is that these are the basic ports. So this is for a regular email. Usually is the POP3 server is mail and your domain name, usually your domain name, and so you will put that on both places here. And then, well, the username and password as appropriate, and the port should be okay, but not necessarily, to be honest. In some cases, you can use port 465, 87. You don't need to remember because actually you have the options here of the most popular ports. This is the default port, but you have other ports that are usually also used pretty frequently, like 465 and 587. Okay, it's giving me an error because I didn't put an email here. That's okay. I'm gonna delete this. And then when you have the email and you want to set up as default, either you answer yes as we did before, or select here, put default to self, or if you're gonna be assigned to a different person, to a different agent, then you select the agents from the list. Right now I only have this one because it's an empty software. And then you will select that and assign it to select it, okay? And you can have the same account assigned to several people, okay? To several people. In other words, for example, the sales department can send the emails, the default to send. They can have different emails to receive, okay? So one is John, one is Mary, one is George at your domain name, one is Mary at your domain name, etc. But it may have one email only for the whole department, so always goes out. I mean, it's an idea. Obviously, you can have separate emails to send, but in some cases, support will like to send, and you see that pretty frequently in emails that you receive from support departments, that they are sent from one centralized email, even though the different people in the support team has the signature there, and when you respond, usually they go by the subject to respond. So it's not specific to the person, but it's specific to the area, to the department of the company. Then you will click here to test once, to test, and if it's working, it will tell you apparently emails can be received. Usually this is correct. I never seen it that it fails, but I put apparently because the way it's done is not a real. You're not receiving an email, so it's not really the same, but it's pretty close. And it should, you see, apparently you can send email with these coordinates, so that means that you are okay. Now here, my best suggestion is that you read this carefully. But essentially, what you are going to do here is to indicate if you want to delete, if you're going to delete the emails immediately or after a number of days. So for example, if I put here like this, okay, and I don't, doesn't matter what I put here. If I don't tell the system to leave the emails on the server, well, it's going to be pretty much deleted when they are downloaded. That means that if you're using Gmail and you want to see them online and in the program, definitely you need to leave them on the server to be seen there, otherwise will be deleted. So in order to do that, you click this button, okay, and then you put a number here: 7 days, 30 days, 9,000 days. You want it forever or immediately, which would be a 0. Okay, so number of days, well, that will remain, any higher than 0 will be the number of days. So my suggestion is simply read this carefully, you'll be fine. This button is to, this service requires SMTP authentication, and if you do that, and what it's going to do is to copy these things, these parameters. In this case, the parameters that I'm using are different, so I don't have it because automatically it's going to go to the port 25. You don't need to know what's going on. Simply, sometimes it's a little bit of trial and error, but whatever works in Outlook will work here. Also here you have a download message size maximum. So like I have here 999 case, kind of a 1 gig, but obviously you can put much more than that, but you need to refrain for a potential problem that you have somebody sending you an email of 50 megs and it will be over what you have here. In any case, you can change this anytime, but my recommendation is to put this to a reasonable number. Otherwise, you can have an excess of emails or attachments that could be, really painful to download if you have hundreds. So anyways, this is a way to control that. Also, this pretty much is the account is active or not. So is this account, when receiving message, include this account? Pretty much self-explanatory, but essentially means that if you don't check mark this, you still can send emails. But when the system checks, and even you can receive them, but when the system checks with the automatic system, well, it's going to say, it's going to ignore this email because it's not checked. So here will be included. And here you have a little helps on that. And you can also activate this filter, find the active or inactive email accounts. So that way you can select and produce a list, which you can see in the list view afterwards. Right here at the top, you can see all these in a list and do sorting up and down, etc., with different names, with different fields, and you can do up and down and visualize which ones are active. And definitely this one that is not, doesn't have anything, cannot be active, shouldn't be active actually. All right, so now we're gonna see the actual part of emails. And so, well, this is duplicate account. Sometimes it's useful if you have an account that is has ports, different ports, and particular POP servers or SMTP servers. You may want to duplicate the account, and then you may the modification is easier than writing everything from scratch. Delete account is obvious, and this part is related to emails themselves. Here, find account, kind of a self-explanatory. You're going to put something that you're looking at, and it's going to select one or more. If there are more than one selected, like in this case, we have two, we're going to have something like this, 1 out of 2, total 2, and then we can move here or use the list view to quickly browse. In some cases, we have like 60 accounts, 60 email accounts, and so sometimes you need to have use a list to make sense of all the things. Here is to receive emails immediately. In some cases, you don't want to receive all the emails if you have many, but you want to receive just one because either you are waiting for something or for whatever reason. So this will be positioned in that email and click receive emails. That will do the trick. Also here, it's important in networks. When you don't have a network, this pretty much doesn't matter that much. But when you have a network, this one will be checked while you are downloading this particular account, or any account will be checked, and that is so the other machines, the other ones in the network, can't download at that moment. So even if you have an automatic reception, and this is to avoid duplication. Okay, so essentially what you want is to tell the other machines, well, stop from downloading right now because I am downloading, and I don't want any duplications. Okay, so that will. But in case that you abort the system for whatever reason, maybe you ran out of batteries in a laptop or something. Well, this might be checked or left checked, and that will be a no-no. You need to come here and uncheck it manually, just to indicate that, well, that now can be processed. But that's a rare case that you, again, abort for an unforeseen reason, like running out of batteries. Okay, so we go here, and we have this pretty much this area almost everywhere in other parts of the program. Like, for example, show to read, show read, show sent, and show to send, which is the outbox, and show deleted. As opposed to other systems, the show deleted, sent, read, and to read is pretty much, well, one thing. This one is a different thing because we're going to send emails, but the rest are emails that have a different status. It's not different folders. In other systems, I think it's probably a historic issue that you see in Outlook, etc., because they have 30 years of history, and you see a sent folder and an inbox folder, and then sometimes you see a red folder. So it's really difficult to make sense of all the emails of a client because they are in different places. Even the trash is in a different folder. So this is not the right way to find emails. Here you have them all, and what you do is to filter. So if I click show to read, it's going to show me this, which is nothing but these 4 emails, okay? But I can show you many things even with this spam thing here. I can show you a couple of tricks. Okay, so let's review this for a second. We have create email, we have delete email, receive all. Pretty much you click this one to download new emails. Send all, that will be if you have in the outbox, you will click send all. Print, well, it's to print the email, right? Full view, this is when you want, and there's a couple of tricks to go here, or a couple of options, I would say. For example, I can click on this side. You see that this side doesn't show a tooltip, but this side shows a tooltip. You can click with Shift to go to the form view, or you can double click to go to the full view. The difference is subtle, but still, you know, this is the one that gives you more space. And you have the attachments here and stuff, the one that gives you more space to read. The other one, still nice, you see, but it has a bunch of other options here. The what we call the full view is more streamlined, and it's the one that I prefer the most. When you are so you can double click here to go to the full view, or click here also, okay, to see the full screen right here. And from here you can see text, or you can see code if it was an HTML email. In this case, this is not an HTML email. Otherwise, I will have it here in HTML, and it would say HTML, and this one will say text. So I'm sure that you are familiar with what is called MIME, where you have a two parts email, one text and one HTML, and that's what we accomplish when we send emails from Credit Money Machine, the CRM RS CRM software, because the program automatically will convert a regular email that you type, we're going to see that in a second, and we'll convert it in two parts, one for HTML, one for text. So if your recipient uses HTML mainly, well, it's going to see it in HTML, and if it uses text, it's going to see it in text. I, for business, prefer the text all day long, less problem with spamming, less problem with being stopped and all that. Okay, so let's see. So here we have a show to read, show read. Obviously, it's going to show the ones to read. Show sent. If you have sent something, it will be here. Show to send. In this case, it will send. It will changes to the outbox. And here you can go to the outbox searching or without searching. Okay. So in this case, without searching, I have 0. You can see 0 out of 0, and I can compose an email. But before that, I want to go a little bit further with because by far we haven't even touched this area. Okay, this area is much more than that you can see here. Plain view, obviously, all these buttons have meaning. Is they're not here just for to take space. And so I want to explain this a little bit before we go to the outbox, which essentially is very easy to use. And we will talk also how to send from templates, or even to send groups of emails to people, to a group. All right. So these are the shortcuts. This is the search and shortcuts. This area, searching things you can do by putting whatever you are looking for in these areas, and then clicking search. But we have also shortcuts. So for example, let's say that we want to find emails that say new sign up from form. First thing will be, this is the subject, so this text is in the subject, so I will have to copy here. Fortunately, I have this little arrow here to copy. Be careful, because sometimes the first part might be the same, second part might have a difference in the with a name or something, and then you don't want that. Okay, I mean, you don't want to put that part. You will need to delete that part in order to find them all. And then I want to delete. See, I mean to read. Those are the ones that I want. Okay, so now I have this search, and if I do that, let's say that I omit is not delete, it's only omitting that email from view. Okay, so I'm omitting this, having 0 in plain view. It's obvious, I'm not seeing anything. And if I click search, okay, it's asking me, again, very useful, different options, asking me to select all, usually the right one. Remember that when you have the rightmost option, you don't need to click with the mouse. You can enter. You can click enter key, and that will be the same. And that's useful because you can click search, enter, which is what I do most of the time, and not having to go here. Or from selected. That means that if I have a huge list and I want to find something from that particular list, that will be from selected. I can also omit them because I want to ignore all the ones that I'm searching, or expand on that list. That would be like having a list of these, and I want the list of this and the list of that. So it will be expanding. In this case, I'm going to click all. I have the same 4. That is correct. Now, if I want to save this particular search for future use, and that's kind of a very important, I will click Save To, and I have 8 buttons. So let's say I click 1, okay, and now I can see here, if I hover, I see what are the parameters of that particular search. And if I, let's say, click clear, hit this, okay, so I don't have anything, and let me omit this again, and I click number 1, I have the same option, so I can click number 1 and enter, and boom, I have everything here. So that saves me for important searches that you do in your daily life. This is kind of a very important, especially because you have the to read. Can be anything, can be sent or whatever, but most importantly is the ability to do that. Okay, now other things that we have here. In many cases, we want to put a date here. So like, for example, we want to find the emails with these parameters to read today. Well, okay, so I click the T. I can use the calendar, obviously, but I want to, save time if at all possible. So I'm clicking today, and I click in search, and it's going to give me the same thing. If I click, for example, the last for the week, okay, it's going to give me the same, because I have 5:30 to 6:06, okay? And that's how you know that this webinar is live, okay? So anyways, now, this, for example, if I put today and I put a minus, you see, let's put in yesterday, it's going to give me 0. It's going to make it nothing, no records found. Continue, boom. I don't have anything because this is yesterday, okay, and so on and so forth. So I can go, I can use the calendar, I can use the month, the week, the today, etc. Also very useful is these ones. Same thing, but have the advantage of you don't have to put the dates here or even put to read. So these assume that you want the ones to read. And also you can see here that has other options. So if I click simply today, I'm going to have the same thing. So in this particular case, I don't need this for anything. I could have even something here, and I'm going to omit for a second and click today, and I have the 4. The 4 or 400,000, because again, we have that power here, being able to handle hundreds of thousands of emails. Same thing with the yesterday, obviously. That will be yesterday and today. This will be for a week, and this will be for a month, so that you can do that. Now, we have the ability to mark emails as valid or as spamming. Okay, and I'm going to teach you how. In order to mark an email as spamming, we have 2 places, right? We have the form field, and we have the to field, so 2 places. And usually the one that we want to mark is the from. But also I use the to, because I have many emails that I use, and simply I use them for the purpose of getting some information, and I know that I'm going to get spam, so I just simply mark it as a whole, as spamming, and then when I select, there will be all there. Okay. Let me see if I can download. Maybe I don't know if I have a little bit more. Yeah, well, I have these that I sent to myself. So we have these 2, so I can play with the different. So let's say that this one is not a spam. Okay, this one. I'm gonna. The instructions are here in the tooltip, and remember that you can always click. You can press the Alt key and hover on the field to see the full thing. At the bottom, when you see, hold the Alt key before hovering to see the tooltip in a Windows dialog. So exactly that. You can hover, move, you can press and move, and then you have the information. But I'm going to tell you right now, is Shift click, Shift Control, sorry. Shift Control to mark it as a non-spam. So in other words, you're saying these emails are not spam. Notice that I only marked in one, but obviously all the ones got marked in yellow. And this one also the subject to make it very easy to detect. And in order to mark as spam, I'm gonna click Shift here, only Shift, and all of them now are red. Very easy to detect. The same thing I can do here, okay, in this right side. So essentially I can say that these are not spam and click with Shift Control, and all of them are marked automatically. If I want to, let's say that I made a mistake, I said, oh, this is actually the opposite. This is spamming, and I wanted to do it. Well, I have a Control-Alt will clarify the thing, and the same as well as here. Okay, it will clarify it, but I'm gonna click again because I want to have one that is not spam and one that is spam and not spam. So now I can click on any of these buttons, okay, any of these buttons. Remember that I'm not using this right now, I don't need it because it's going to be set automatically by these buttons, but I can click with these buttons using the same thing that I did for spamming and not spamming. In other words, I can click with Shift and find all the ones that are spamming. So now imagine I receive hundreds of spamming a day, but they're reasonably easy to delete because I just select them all, and then once they are selected, what I do, not necessarily every person is different. Every person will have and you can develop your own tricks, but the ones I'm sharing, the ones that I use, and the ones that I use are the ones I have all the spamming, all the spamming emails selected. I sort using the black arrow. The difference between using the black arrow or not is the following. I can also sort by clicking here, but if I sort clicking here, you see I'm still in number 4, so I will need to go to number 1 in order to pretty much go in sequence. Not in this case that I have 4, but remember we're doing this class just with very little so you don't get confused. And so, but by clicking instead, now in number 4, right? We're in record 4. Out of 4 records displayed, we are in position 4. So in position 4 out of 4. Okay, so now if I click the black arrow, then I sort and also I go to number 1. So to review things, this is the one to pick. This is to do it normally. This has its advantage too, and it's that you can sort without moving the position. So in other words, if you are in the second position and you sort like this, you see you're going to stay there. So the things sort around, you don't notice here, but I'm going to make you notice, okay? So I'm going to make you notice by putting something here. That's one of the features that you can edit, not only the subject, but actually the body, the message as well. But I'm going to put here 4. So we can be very clear that when I sort, and I mean number 3, and I sort, I'm going to stay in number 3, even if they sort. Yeah, right, because this is ascending, so it's sorted like this, and this is descending, sorted like that. But I'm on record that this particular email. It can change even the number here. That's okay, because this one, of course, is the number 2 out of 4, and if I do like this, it's going to be number 3 out of 4. So that's perfectly right. But what matters here is that the use of this, if I do like this, it will go to number 1. Very, very useful, because then it doesn't matter if I have 200, 300 emails. I can go down very quickly, not like this. Actually, I will either jump with this button, in this case 10 by 10, you can put any number, the number that your screen gives you, and you can jump. So in this case, I'm going to put number 2. So actually, let me select all the ones to read. So I have this, and if I'm at the top and I put the number 2, you see that it will jump from 2 to 2. So we're in number 1, now number 3, number 5, number 7, so on and so forth, 8, etc. So I can go back and forth and jump. Usually you're going to have the number of records that your screen lets you to see. Depending of your resolution, of your screen resolution, you're gonna see more or less. So depending of that, you might modify these buttons. Also, this one is very useful. You're gonna see that. Well, I'm gonna explain how it works. And for example, let's say that I want to go to record number 4. So I go to the record number 4, and I can go or go and omit. The difference is kind of obvious. If I go to that record, I went to record number 4, okay? And if I go and omit, that means go to record number 4, omit the rest. Sometimes I review, let's say 200, and I don't have more time at the moment. I omit the rest, delete them, all of them, I mean the spamming, and then simply come back later and do again the spamming thing. Remember, shift, the same thing that you use to mark as a spamming with shift, you're gonna do, and the same thing that you use to mark as a non-spamming is the same thing that you're gonna use here. Shift Control, and boom. You have always the instructions here, so it's not that you need to remember, but you will remember. It's only Shift or Shift Control, and that is very useful. Another thing that is important, so this one I hope is clear. I hope it's clear. One of the things is sometimes you receive an email, so you are reading emails to read, and you want to protect that email. That is a very important feature because even though some emails you want to delete, even personally I delete them for good. In other words, I don't even change the status. I can change the status of an email. I'm here, click delete, perfect, no problem. I can change the status. I'll change it to read, or I can even put it back to read if I want. But that would be putting thousands of emails in the deleted folder, no folder actually, deleted status. That is unnecessary unless actually you want to have them as backups or whatever. That's fine, no problem. You can have them, but also there is an option to delete for good. You see, so you can delete for good, and in that case, simply no undo. Simply they are deleted from the database. And in my case, since I know they're spamming, and still I know that I have them on the server for potentially a few days at least. Well, I don't mind, clicking for good. They will be deleted, and that's it. End of the story. I don't carry a bunch of garbage in the deleted folder. But it would be possible if I delete this one and I click Show Deleted. Now I have these two, this blank that are not whatever, and this one. So that is perfectly possible. Now, so the protection is like you want an email. Even sometimes you want to protect a spamming for whatever reason. It was interesting to you. You want to be sure that you're gonna reread it when you have time. So even though it's a spamming, you don't want to take it as not spamming, but you want to protect that is not gonna be deleted. So in that case, I click the protection column, okay, this one. And you have information here. This is to protect. This is not spam. Essentially what it says is not spam and cannot be deleted without deleting this. As a matter of fact, even if you are not on top and you delete the whole bunch of emails, still this one will be safe. So unless you delete these, it will be safe. The other side essentially is for whatever you want, or to indicate that is spamming, and you want to review it later for whatever reason, and you can just mark it because it works for everything. It's just a column group that you can use from selected, from all, etc. And then boom, I select these two with these for whatever reason. The reasons varies so much, and that's why I have tools for every case. Another case is to mark the emails with a color. That can be accomplished automatically with the Rules Manager. We're not going to explain this today. It will be too lengthy. But with the Rules Manager, we can process and extract information from emails automatically and add it if we want to the database, or assign an autoresponder, or assign or forward it or we can do many things here in the rules manager. Okay, in the rules manager, replies, forward, move it to a different thing, change the color, change the status, assign it to a particular agent. So we can do a lot of things, but it's not enough time to go over that. We'll go another week. And then, but essentially, my point is that you can mark these as with colors. So for example, I'm going to mark this with red, and I'm going to mark this with red. Okay, and I'm going to mark this one with green, and this one with green. And so what? I put green in this one. I meant this one, and I put this one in green. Okay, so what happened is, of course, I can do this manually, or I can do this automatically from the rules manager. But if I do it manually, I have the advantage not only that something that is important, I put it in red, that only makes sense, and but also I can retrieve the ones in red by clicking. You see the button here, shift click to select only red. So I click shift click to select only the red ones from the list. Very useful when you have a big list and then you have selected 2 or 3 that you consider important and you want to see them from the list. You are not deleting anything. You're simply hiding the other ones. And this is the power of our email system, which, to be honest, I consider probably the best in the world there is, because of the many features that you can use, you can have at your fingertips, and you can decide what to do. If you can invent your own strategy, so to speak, or your own techniques. Another thing that you can do here is to shift control to select only the black ones. So in other words, the ones that don't have a color. So pretty much the opposite. In this particular case, it omitted. I click shift control, right, and it omitted the red and the green ones, leaving me with these. Okay, so I hope that part is clear. Then we have a way here to go directly to that email. That would be equivalent to clicking in the form. Okay, and this one, to my opinion, is a little bit crowded. You don't need these almost ever. You might need the other one to see the full screen to read better, but the other one is also useful in some cases. Okay, so other things that you can do. Omit is kind of a self-explanatory, but you can omit just by clicking, not deleting. Again, sometimes you need to clarify your number here, and you can omit a few. Also, it's possible to omit and omit several. So that will be at the top here. Okay, so the program advise you or suggest you that you can remove 2 on the top or 3 on the bottom, because you are here, where you are positioned here. You see the black line here. So 2 or 3. You can change that number. Obviously, you can put now to omit 2 from this and not 3. But usually this is correct in what you want to do. You want to eliminate either the top part or the bottom part. So if I want to omit the top part, you can omit even current, which would be equivalent to clicking the one button, or select current, which is the opposite, meaning select only one and only that one. For example, doing like this. Okay, so that would be selecting that one. But in this particular case, let's say that I want to omit, I'm going to omit 5 down, and I leave me only these 2. So this omit is important. Another thing, sometimes you want to change the whole status, so instead of a bunch of emails, also very useful. Again, all these features are not the basic functionality. This is an advanced functionality that you might use if you want, as appropriate, but not necessarily that you need to know all these in order to use the program. Basically, the only thing that you need to know probably is the finding, the search area, and that's it, and the receive all. That's what you need normally. But that is because you are used to have only that. That is not enough, in my opinion. By the way, now I'm noticing that this email also came in HTML, as I said before. And you can see it here in HTML by clicking HTML. Essentially, you can click the link, etc. Or you can double click and automatically went here to the HTML part of it. But also we can see it as a text, HTML. Okay, says inside, or it works in a different way when you do it that way, but it doesn't matter. Test HTML, and also you can see the code in case, and this is useful also to know, sometimes spamming and all other reasons. You can see that. You can also see the header. Very important for those of you that want to see who's sending, if it's real, not real, whatever. You can see the whole header here, right? Okay, all the header of the email very easily. You can see it in many programs, but not that easily. That just by clicking header. See header somewhere here that I lost. But anyways, okay, so I'm gonna go back. By the way, you can see it also here. See header, boom, and close. Okay, so now all other things that you can do in the email system. You can change the status locally here, or you can send it here. What is the difference? The difference when you change it here is gonna stay in red. It's gonna stay here in red because I changed it to red. And if I click delete it, it's gonna be deleted and it's staying here. Red, deleted, whatever. But if I click red here, it's gonna go to the next one. Okay. So that is because you might want to go red, and in case some people do that, and you want to do it pretty much automatically. So that is also possible. Other things that could be useful. These are black arrows. If you remember, the black arrows in other parts of the program and also here will filter the database by the field at left. So for example, if I click here, I have find from selected, which will give us those two only. Find from all, which give more. Okay, 4. Or omit, span, well, mark, etc. Probably you don't want that. But these 4 are useful, especially these two: find from selected, find from all. And also important is the same here. Before I go further, same here, right? You can find all the ones that came to this email on the same thing, or even here you can say, let's say that I have all these 8 and I'm positioned here. Here is going to tell me what is the email of this one. If I position here, you see it's a different email. And let's say that I want all the emails related to this one. I can click here, emails, and I have them all. And look at this. I'm having even the one that I deleted, not only the ones, because this is to have all the emails related to this client. Kind of I want to know immediately what are the emails that I sent or received from this client, or delete or something. The line of communication, pretty much, boom, I click here, is okay. Now, let's say that I want to go to the contact. I can click here and go to the contact. Well, I have several options here, okay, and I'm not going to explain all of them, but I certainly encourage you to check all these. And the most important is number 1, go to the current contact, but then you can go to the contact by staying on screen. So it's going to go back and stay on the screen and put the contact here for further action. You can select contact based on selected email. So you have a group of email that you have selected from the search maybe, and you want to go to all those contacts with one click. That is possible. There are many options, including go to the contact based on the last email in the message. This is important when you're receiving emails back, like non-deliverables, or even you can not delete, but actually move emails from the email field to the extra emails, to the additional emails with one click, and this is useful to unsubscribe people from sending more emails without having to go back and forth. So many marketing features, but the main one, number 1, so I go and didn't find anything, of course. Okay, so that's fine. But I have this add as contact. So let's say that I found, I'm interested in this client, or is a prospect. Someone sent us an email saying, I'm interested in your products, da 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 da. I checked that is not in our contact database by clicking this, and then I click add as contact. So this is what's going to happen. It will add it here, the email, as a note, automatically created from email. So you know that it's not something that you copied, but it was automatically created, and it will put the email. And of course, now you can put all the things in the right places, right? So you have etc. So you can do that manually, but at least you have this with one click. Now it's linked. Now it means that if, for example, I have everything selected here, right, and I click, I have this client, which is that client that I'm coming from, and I click emails related to contact, I can select them all with one click. Remember that that includes if the contact had more than one email, that will take it into consideration. Unlimited emails, everything will be pretty easy. Another very important thing, very important, is the ability to link. And that, when do you need to link an email, is when you receive an email from a third party, but that belongs to a client. That is the case of faxes and other things, but mainly faxes. You receive the fax from eFax or RingFax or whatever, fax.com, etc. And but essentially it's an email that is sent by RingCentral, for example. And that email, once you evaluate the email, once you see it, that has to be linked to the client, so it's going to be selected. So I'm going to link this one, the second one, the green one. I'm going to link to this contact. Very easy. Just click link, and now it's linked. What it means that now it's going to be selected automatically when I come from the program. I mean, when I come from the client, or when I click emails related to contact. You see, now I have 5. So whatever I am, if I, in this one, I only include the email itself. But when I click here, emails related to content. So this one is email related to that email, okay? Emails related to this email will be all this. But when it's email related to contact, it will include all the emails that belong to this contact and also the ones that are linked. Whether they are deleted or not deleted. Remember, this is the line of communication, okay? Line of communication. You can also go to the contact by clicking here. In this case, well, very easy, because wherever you go, you're gonna go to this one. You go back, you can go, or you can go here from the link. But when you have a bunch of emails that you have received, you may want to actually, let's say that we don't have this right now, and I have this one linked to this contact, and can click go, and boom, I'm here, 1 of 1 out of 101. Okay, so another thing, I'm gonna go back right now to the email system just by clicking Control 5. Control 5 is equivalent, and you have all that. You don't need to remember again. Don't get scared, because Control 5 is you have it right here in the scripts, right? For those of you that use Pro Plus or Ultimate, you have it right here. And the email system is Control 5, so you need to, you can use it from here, as a matter of fact. And this is equivalent to going to an email without searching. So it's equivalent to clicking number 2 here. Okay, very useful when you are in different parts. So it can be in the template manager, for example, and then I can go back into the email system, copy something here, go back to the template manager, go back to the email, back and forth, go in between to the contacts here, go to the email system. Very fast and very easy to do, only to remember a few scripts. If you don't remember, you can always use them here. Still better than having to come back and click 3 or 4 buttons. And I'm trying to be very fast. I mean, again, this is a professional software. I mean, when you're using all the software, it takes 10 times more time, because you need to not only save or not save or whatever, but even to find the functionality when it exists is very cumbersome. So this one, you need to put a little bit more effort at the beginning, but that effort will be well compensated when you have more power, much more power. Here we have the groups. The groups, well, that's exactly that. You can add groups. So I'm gonna put here my own group. So my own group, and I can insert that group. Okay, there was only one email here. Then I insert it here. I can select it also here. Okay, so if I click on this one, I can select this one. I can select several. Like this one, it has two groups. I mean, two groups. So that's important because in Gmail, for example, there is something called labels. It's similar to a group. Actually, in my opinion, it's a misnomer. But the thing is that you can do selection of kind of a groups, but you can only have one. Sometimes you want more than one because it can be a friend, it can be a related, you know, like a hobby related, or it can be a prospect, can be whatever. And the beauty is that you can use these groups here. For example, if I click like this, right, and then I have the group to read today, and I have the group to read today. You can add groups. You can use the black arrow to select, for example, general, from all, from selected, whatever. Boom, gives me all of these, and or from selected. Usually, in that case, is from selected more useful. You can clear the group. Here are two columns that are for any use. Okay, similar to this one, that is for any use. Only that this one is kind of a more handy because it's visually is near this one, and you're gonna focus your eyes in the center of the screen. Okay, so now we're going to talk just a little bit, just a few minutes, about the check for duplicates. First, before I forget, we have these private notes and we have the edit. And I want to point out that because it's kind of important. Private notes, well, as the name implies, you're going to put whatever you want here. You can click the title to just put a date when you type this, and then you can type anything. And again, you can add more notes, and that could be, that's why it's called private notes. Okay, so that's a way to have a private note. Another thing that can happen is that you receive this. For example, let's say that I receive this email, and then all of a sudden I know for whatever reason that actually this is not a 3, it's a 4. Well, not a big deal, but it might be an issue if I leave this email here and maybe everybody in the company is seeing this at 3. So I want to change this. That is simply impossible in any other software. But here it's very simple. You just click edit, make your change, get out, done. So that's one thing. Another thing that I might want to do is to put a note. I have a proposal of any kind, and I want to put a note, and well, I might put it here as a private, but I might want to have it here in order to highlight and also to know at the moment that I'm going to reply that I have these thoughts about this email. So for example, I can do the same. I can go to edit, and instead of typing, because that would be in a reply, I can give that information. I'm going to use the double brackets. If you remember from previous webinars, when we use the double brackets in many places in the software, not everywhere, but in many important places, that will be ignore at time of printing. In this case, it's ignore at time of emailing. So I can type something and not be seen in a reply. So I can say, for example, I like the offer. The offer, my counter offer will be less. Okay. So I need to put double brackets. So you can see, I can see perfectly this, and I can even I would be able to put it in red, for example, if I want to, right? That's why I have these buttons. Again, I'm a lazy user, but I'm not a lazy programmer. So I put all these tools in order to be very, very easy to see. I can put it bigger if I want to be bigger, and very easy to see. Okay, so now I have this. If I'm gonna do a reply, well, I know what it says. Okay, oh, okay, so I need to counter offer. I don't need to know, I don't need to remember all the email, but I have my own notes that are not related to this one. Big difference here. Here I can put more things or less as appropriate, um, but this is just to put something important. Even I can put it anywhere, right? And do I have a price here or something? And then I put double brackets. And when I do a reply, either with the instant and normal or normal, by the way, I can reply with a text, plain text, rich text. I'm going to use rich text now. Okay. I have this, but when I send this one won't be sent. Okay, so this I can write whatever. I have this one won't be sent, and that way I have it. It's a private note, in fact, okay, that I'm having here. It's a private note, and I'm gonna send it here. I'm gonna put typing something. Okay, and send it. And this, we are right now in the instant email. We have 3 systems. Okay, when we're sending templates or here, we have 3 systems to send. One is the instant, is the one that you saw, is the preferred one because it's ultra fast to use when you're sending to one person, which usually is what you do. So you're sending one person, you go here, click, you see ultra fast, and from here you can, well, simply there are several things that you should know probably of the instant email. One is the ability to have pre-selected emails in this drop-down list. Let me show you how it works. For example, I can mark here the ones that will be in the drop-down list. So I'm gonna have a few. Okay, so I'm going to mark this one, and these are, your usual providers, the client that you have that is so important, your partners, your associates, your friends, and then when you go to the email, you have it here to select with this. Okay. So you have it. You also have the attachments. You have the same thing, but not, since the attachments is different, you can have it here in snippets. So you can have here certain path to attachments that you have used previously and select those attachments just by using this. For example, I mean, I don't know if I have something here that is suitable. Let's see. I have some videos here. Let's see this sample. Obviously, this is a video, but if I want to use this, I can add this to the snippets list, okay, and have it here for further use in the future, or I can insert it now. It's going to be double. Well, actually, it's replacing this one because it's eliminating the duplicates. And then you can have these attachments with this. Same thing with the subject. For example, probably you have seen from me saying from the desktop of, so that's a one that I use commonly, and I can let me delete this one, and I can have unlimited. The beauty is that when I start typing, like F, you see, it will suggest the one with F. If there are more, it will show more. So, and boom, click enter, I'm here. Very, very easy. Another thing that you can do is to put snippets here to enter here. Like for example, I use, so you can go to snippets. Well, this is a snippets that will be unlimited. These are shortcuts of snippets. So you can have, for example, it was a pleasure talking to you on the phone. And so I have this here, and I can save it to number 1. So now, this is wrong, so I'm going to put you correctly, and I'm going to resave it to number 1. Now it's warning me that I'm overriding. That means that I can paste that just by clicking this anywhere that I'm at right now. So very, very easy to use. Anywhere I am, I click on it, it will be pasted. Here I can select the type of format that I want to use. Rich text will produce a MIME email, text and HTML. Okay, so for example, if I have this in bold, okay, and I have this on the right. Okay, so I'm gonna eliminate this bold and I'm gonna put it on the right and normal here. So if I do like this and I send this to I'm going to have this in HTML and in text. Okay, so we'll see that. You can see it's pretty easy actually when you select those things. You just simply, it's kind of a normal to you. You don't need to write in HTML or whatever. But on top of that is sending in as text, and that is the important part when you do it in other software. And I believe including Outlook, it will send only as an HTML, and that is kind of not what you want because some people might not have the HTML. Okay, so when I receive here now, I'm gonna find that particular email right here. Okay, I have it as text and I have it as an HTML, and this one is on the right, and this one is bold. Okay, and then remember, if I do double click, it's gonna open in HTML if HTML is available, and here we have the attachment in this particular one. By the way, when it comes with an attachment, you see here, and usually you can click on it and run it. Usually, if you have the right software, especially if it is a PDF or a document, you only have to click on it, and you have other options like shift click. My best advice is that you hover always that you come here to the email. Hopefully I have motivated you enough, and you come to the email and hover your mouse over every option and you see how it works, because even with this advanced class there are many things that I can, or I simply forget, or I cannot talk about in depth at this moment. We have here ways to copy the content, copy the subject, selected content, so you can produce even a list, selected subject, so it can producing a list of subjects of the emails that you have at the moment, or the select subject and content. And this you could say, well, why? But that depends. You receive orders or something like that, you might want to produce a list of that and give it to the sales department to be invoiced as appropriate. So that list could be, the order with the subject and the content to all of them with one click. Would that help you? I hope so. Then we have even encryption and decryption. Let's say that this is a sensitive email that you receive and you don't want anyone to see, well, you can encrypt it with one click, and only your ID, not your password, but your ID, well, essentially will be the same. If someone has your password, can enter and decrypt it, but essentially only you can come and decrypt it, okay? So other person cannot. Check for duplicates, also very useful. Sometimes in this case, for example, probably these are duplicates. Well, they are duplicates. Duplicates are selected. Yes, they are. And that is because I have kind of a loop in my system that is making me receive several emails. But the point is that with very easily, or maybe it was an error with the X that I talk about, whatever, but maybe an error on purpose. I don't know. Maybe you deleted something by mistake and you want to re-download everything, in which case you would have reset the history and download everything again. That is, well, and then you simply want to delete the duplicate. So this is very reliable. Okay, it checks, select the duplicate based on the from, the to, and the exact time and the exact subject. So really, this is very, very reliable in terms of being duplicates. And another thing, and this will be the last thing for today, is the important email selector. This is, very sophisticated tool. You might not use it. Hopefully, it will be useful to you. And it's designed to add open system here, for example, to add an email that you consider an important email of someone. Maybe it's somebody that you are waiting an email from, okay? And you have a bunch of emails here that you have entered, right? And then with one click, find since yesterday. You see, you find all those emails. In this case that I put, all those emails with one click. Very useful because you can have many important, maybe partners and not necessarily for clients usually, but most importantly for, big companies that you're waiting emails from, or maybe even a form that that is an order. You can manage that with this, of course, with a shortcut. But in some cases, the important thing is to have the option of the selection. I believe that would be pretty much everything that I have to say. We have always defined contacts, you know that, or list contacts here. This is kind of important, obviously, define contact, because you can, without going to the contacts area, you can find a contact here and use it maybe to link. So let's say that I want to link this one to Portia, so I will try to find Portia. Okay, I found Portia, so now I can link to Portia. So that will give me the opportunity to link with these instead of having to go to the contacts. And the same, this has been explained in another webinar. The jump to area, I can have pretty much 5 different contacts that you can change just with one click. Shift click to mark and click to select, and if you have that, maybe you have here agents, for example, who knows, and you want to link certain emails to them. Again, this is not all that what the program can do, but certainly I covered the most important areas. I was forgetting to say a little bit just about the normal, okay, because we have instant, normal, and Outlook. The Outlook is pretty much like the instant. The only difference is that it's going to save the emails, the email in your system, but it's going to send the email to Outlook. So it's going to open Outlook to send. And again, this is for people that love Outlook, but still will have to have a copy of the things, and you can receive afterwards in Outlook and Credit Money Machine and still have a copy here. So that's for some of you, and then the normal usually used from the template manager. Okay, the normal, for example, here, let's say that I have that template. Well, normally I will select which the agent that is going to send on behalf of who, and then and I can select normal or instant. Again, when you're doing one, by all means, the best way is to use instant, and that's why it's the rightmost thing. But for this example, I can use the normal, and you see in the normal, I have other options, like for example, sending in the future. Send this email on the selected day, so send tomorrow instead of sending today. That way, it's not sent. Even if I click the send all, it won't be sent until tomorrow. So you can schedule things that is going to happen the next day, and also when you are in the template manager, okay, I don't want to confuse you too much already, and but when you are here, you can email to many. So for example, if I had, I'm gonna go back for a second. I explained that the other day a little bit when we talk about the template manager, so not too much to talk right now. But if I have this group of 100 and I go to the template manager. I select a template, email template. Normal must be if I want to be more than one. And then I can select the group that I'm sending, and if it is going to be rich text, like it has a bold or something like that, or not, and rich text, and then I will click continue and create or send all those emails. I explained the automatic way in the template manager class, so I'm not going to go back and explain that again, but you have the way to, you see in here will be for HTML, for SMS, which is essentially cellular phones, not too advisable because we have other systems and people get annoyed, and auto, which is automatic, not going inside the system but with a triangulation system that we developed and you can use with ease. And then continue, and that will create 101 emails. So that is all for today. I hope you like it. You enjoyed it, and we're gonna take a short vacation for 2 weeks. So we're not gonna have class next week or the other one, but we will come back the third week from today. I thank you all for your attention, and hopefully you have learned what I put here. Also, I'm gonna put the video soon in lmrwebinar.com. I'm gonna put the video for you review. You wanna review it, that one as well as the other videos. Okay, so thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.